Hello, in this tutorial video I will tell you about trading on the betting exchange Betfair using single bets with the help of the FairBot program. We will also study the greening up and stop loss functions helping us in trading. We are reviewing version 2.96. The idea of trading on betting exchange implies placing two bets, a back bet and a lay bet, on one and the same market participant, but with different odds. To get a profit, the back bet's odds should be higher than those of the lay bet. Otherwise, we will have losses. Generally, if we assume the odds will increase, we place an initial lay bet, and only once it has been matched, we place the closing back bet. If we assume the odds will decrease, it is reasonable to first place a back bet and only then place a lay one. So, for single bets, trading in the grid interface, we should first of all deactivate the trading option on top of the main program window, if it is still active. Then we should activate the confirm option and set the required values of the stakes in the back stake and lay stake fields, for example, £50 each. After that, we can place our bets. For instance, let's place a lay bet at the odds 3.45. After it's been matched, we will place a back bet, but the odds will be higher than those of the lay bet. As I explained before, this is required for getting a profit. To do this, we click any cell in the back side and set the odds in the appearing bet confirmation window. The odds should be higher than the ones in the lay bet, for example, 3.5. Then click Submit. After that, our closing back bet stays in the Unmatched Bets section. After some time, our closing back bet is matched, and we have a profit on the participant we placed bets on. Other market participants have zero profit. When trading in the grid interface, it is very comfortable to use the swap option. This option automatically converts a back bet to a lay one with the same odds and vice versa. Let's activate this option. After clicking any odds in the lay side, we will see that our lay bet has been swapped to a back one with the same odds. The very same swapping is done when clicking any odds in the back side. In other words, a back bet is converted to a lay one. This lets us place a back bet at higher odds than the lay bet without editing the bet's odds. Therefore, we can deactivate the confirm option in order to place our bets in single-click mode. That saves our time considerably. After that, we will place a lay bet by clicking the best odds in the back side. And after some time, after our lay bet has been matched, let's place a back bet by clicking the odds 3.45 in the lay side. After some time, both our bets are matched and we can see some profit again. Let's consider the function greening up next. After fixing some profit on one of the market participants, we can share it equally among all market participants to get a guaranteed profit irrespective of the race winner. This is done with the help of the greening up function, also called hedging. For that, we should click the greening up button appearing in the grid or ladder interface next to the respective participant. It shows the anticipated profit or loss for each market participant. After clicking this button, the bet confirmation window appears. Here we can specify the bet's odds. As you can see, when changing the bet's odds, the stake changes automatically, so the profit and loss could be shared equally among all the market participants. Also, we can activate the Live Odds option. It automatically changes the bet's odds to the current ones to get our bet matched right after sending it to Betfair. After clicking the Submit button, the bet is sent to Betfair. Once matched, you can see that our profit has been distributed nearly equally among all the market participants. Now we are in profit in any case. You can click this button again to distribute the profit among all market participants more precisely. To deactivate the confirmation window of the greening up function, you should deactivate the Confirm Greening Up option. In this case, when clicking the Greening Up button, the bet will be immediately sent to Betfair without the bet confirmation window appearing. But we will keep this option activated for further study of the program. I would also like to add a couple of words about the peculiarities of the greening up function, especially about which odds are used in this function if there is a certain gap between the back and lay odds. In other words, when there are one or more so-called empty odds between the highest back odds and the lowest lay odds currently available in the market, i.e. without the bids available. It is very easy to see that in the ladder interface. Therefore, let's select a new market and go to the ladder interface. Then, let's select one of the market participants having this odds gap. As you can see, there are empty cells between the odds 11.5 and 13. They have no bids. Therefore, there is a reasonable question which odds will be used by the greening up function in this case. For this kind of situation, the greening up function has two operating modes. To make the necessary selection, you should open the Options screen from the View menu and go to the Behavior bookmark. Here, in the greening up price box, we can see two options: Use Available Price and Use the Most Profitable Price. Use Available Price uses the currently available odds. The advantage of this option is that a greening up bet would be matched immediately, but the odds used in this case are not very profitable. It has a negative effect on our profit or loss we get after applying greening up operation. Use the Most Profitable Price uses the more profitable odds, allowing to achieve higher profits and lower losses. But the disadvantage of this mode is that a greening up bet could stay unmatched. I would also like to note that if there are no gaps between the back and lay odds, both these modes give one and the same odds for the greening up function. To demonstrate the differences of the modes of the greening up function, let's activate the Use the Most Profitable Price option. Then, let's activate Simulation Mode and deactivate the Swap option. Furthermore, let's place any bet on one of the market participants having an odds gap and demonstrate Use the Most Profitable Price mode. In this case, when clicking the Greening Up button, we can see that the default odds are 13.5. They come before the odds of 14. Also, we can see that in this mode, our loss is comparably low. Now let's click the Submit to place a bet. As you can see, our bet remains unmatched. Now, let's test Use Available Price. To do that, let's cancel our bet and select Use Available Price. As you might have noticed, the Greening Up button started showing a much higher loss. Let's try clicking it. In the bet confirmation window, we can see that the odds used now are not that profitable, and therefore we have a higher loss than in Use the Most Profitable Price mode. But after clicking Submit, our bet will be matched. Thus, in this example, you can see the main advantages and disadvantages of both modes of the Greening Up function. Now let's choose a new market. Deactivate simulation mode and start studying trading in the ladder interface. There is no real need to use the swap option in the ladder interface because we have access to all the odds both for back and lay bets. That is why we can avoid using it. Also, let's set the appropriate stake with the help of the stake buttons at the bottom, for instance £100. Thereafter, let's try to place a lay bet at lower odds than the back bet. For example, let's place a lay bet at the odds 1.66. After it's been matched, let's place a back bet at the odds 1.67. After some time, our back bet is also matched, and we get some profit on our participant. Here, we have started trading with the lay bet, hoping the odds will increase. But we could also start with the back bet if we anticipate the odds will decrease. The ladder interface also has the greening up button on top. But apart from that, the usage of this function in the ladder interface is more flexible and not tied to the current odds. We use the fifth column of each section of the ladder interface. When the PL option on top of the ladder interface is set to Hedged PL, the fifth column shows the future amounts of profits or losses after using the greening up function at the corresponding odds. For instance, if greening up currently shows 0.61, it means that the respective bet would be placed at the appropriate odds, namely at the odds 1.64. In the fifth column, we can see this for the odds 1.64. But apart from that, we can also see which value would be displayed for other odds on the greening up button. To place a greening up bet with the help of the fifth column of the ladder interface, we should left-click the appropriate value in this column right next to the odds needed. For instance, when clicking near the odds 1.52 in the bet confirmation window, we can see that the stake is automatically calculated by the program in such a way that profit or loss are distributed equally among the market participants. Let's close the bet confirmation window, disable the Confirm Greening Up option, and try to click the other cells of the fifth column. As you can see, FairBot sends the appropriate bets to Betfair without confirmation. All other bets operations are available here, such as changing the odds, using drag and drop, also cancelling the bet, like I have just demonstrated to you. Now let's distribute the profit among all market participants by clicking the appropriate cell in the fifth column. At the same time, I would like to note that the fifth column can also show the profit or loss for this particular market participant only. In other words, when using the fifth column, we can share the overall profit or loss in such a way that this participant will be in profit or loss depending on how successful our trading was. The other market participants will be at zero profit. For this purpose, we need to use Selection PL value of the PL option on top of the ladder interface. For example, by choosing Selection PL and clicking any cell in the fifth column. Prior to that, we need to activate the Confirm option. We can see that this participant sort of takes all the profit or loss, and other participants are at zero. This function can be useful if you, for example, want to level the effect of greening up bet and return all the profit or loss to a specific market participant. To continue, let's return PL to its original hedged PL value. Then I would like to mention that so far we have only considered favorable market situations. Now, let's study the possible actions in situations where the market started changing against us. For instance, if we placed the initial back bet and after that the odds started increasing, or if we placed a lay bet and the odds started decreasing. In this case, we can close our position manually using the appropriate bet or using the greening up function. But to do that, it is better to use the stop loss function. We will discuss this next. By using the stop loss function, we can automate the process of closing our position if the market moves against us. In other words, when the market participant reaches certain odds, FairBot can automatically place a bet to close our position with the predefined losses. To demonstrate the stop loss function, let's go to a new market and place the initial bet on any of the market participants, i.e., let's open the position. For example, like this. Also, let's place a closing bet which will remain unmatched, for instance, this way. After that, we will need to limit our probable losses using stop loss, in case the market develops against us. To place a stop loss bet, you need to right-click, not left-click as usual, the appropriate odds. It is better to do that when the confirm option is active to set the necessary parameters of our stop loss bet. In the Edit Stop Loss window, there is a Trigger Odds parameter. It determines the odds triggering the stop loss bet. There is also a Place At parameter. It determines the odds of a stop loss bet to be sent to Betfair. Sometimes it differs from the Trigger Odds parameter. So when the market reaches trigger odds and a stop loss bet triggers, the program requests less favorable odds for a bet sent to Betfair to have higher chances for the stop loss bet to be matched. For example, when a stop loss bet triggers at the odds 2.28, it could be sent to Betfair with the odds 2.32. It is very useful for in-play markets, as there is a time lag of in-play delay in this case. And when the bet is sent to Betfair, the odds could change considerably, and it could remain unmatched. But if the current market odds haven't changed during the time of sending the stop loss bet, with the odds of 2.32, i.e. they remained 2.28, Betfair will automatically change our bet's odds to more favorable ones, i.e. 2.32 would become 2.28. To activate stop loss bet, you need to click the Submit. After that, it goes to the Pending Bets section and waits for the moment when the odds reach the appropriate level. Then, FairBot immediately sends it to Betfair. To distinguish stop-loss bets from ordinary bets in the Pending Bets section, FairBot marks stop-loss bets with SSL, that means single stop-loss, or just SL, which in turn means stop-loss. Also, I find it very convenient that stop-loss bets are marked in red in the ladder interface. That allows us to distinguish them from the rest of the bets and change them just like any ordinary bet. In other words, we can change the odds using the drag and drop feature, or just completely cancel it. Now let's change the odds of a stop-loss bet with the help of drag and drop and move it closer to the current odds to show how a stop-loss bet works. After some time, our stop-loss bet worked out, and we can see we have a certain loss. So it is better to cancel our closing bet since our position has been closed already. Afterwards, we can distribute our loss or remaining profit among all the market participants using the greening up function. For example, like this. I would also like to mention another peculiarity when it comes to using the stop-loss function in the grid interface. If swap mode is activated, we cannot place a stop-loss bet by right-clicking, since stop-loss bets are converted into opposite stop-loss bets. And they are meaningless, since they request profitable odds. In other words, if we right-click in the lay side and swap mode is on, our stop-loss lay bet would be converted to stop-loss back bet with the same odds. And this makes no sense, since this stop-loss bet would trigger immediately. It would be better to replace this bet with an ordinary back bet. But if we disable the swap option, we can place stop-loss bets in the grid interface by right-clicking as well. This is all I wanted to tell you in this video. I hope you now have an idea how to trade single bets and also the purpose of the greening up and stop-loss functions. Thank you for your attention.